As we reported earlier, there was a lot of excitement around Pfizer's announcement today that early data show its COVID vaccine looks very effective. It's just one of a number of leading vaccine candidates to tackle COVID-19. And it's quite possible the world will need several vaccines made by different companies to eventually end the pandemic. We're going to look at this news in two parts. William Brangham has our breakdown.
Judy, the first thing to know, and we really cannot stress this enough, is that this is very initial data that was put out by Pfizer and its German partner, the drug maker BioNTech. But the result was beyond what many expected. Pfizer said initial results found its vaccine was 90% effective in preventing COVID among volunteers who had no prior infection. The data hasn't been published or reviewed by a medical journal yet, but Pfizer released it today with the hopes of getting approval for use in the weeks ahead. Dr. Albert Bourla is the chairman and CEO of Pfizer, and he joins me now. Dr. Bourla, very good to have you on the NewsHour. Before we talk about the results, I wonder if you could just give me a sense of, as the CEO of this company, what was your reaction when you heard this news first come in?
It was a relief. I was feeling the pressure of the hopes of so many billions of people. I knew that this is one of the most promising technologies. This was the one that had the best results in terms of immunogenicity, in terms of cell immune, but we didn't know if this is translated into protection. And I was very worried. I was cautiously optimistic, but humanly worried, knowing the consequences if that was going to be negative. But from knowing that it is positive, all the way to knowing that it is positive and 90%, which I never thought would be, that gave me a joy that I cannot describe.
Initially, the FDA said that it set a benchmark of 50% efficacy for a vaccine. You guys are reporting 90% efficacy. But what do we know the data is saying about what this is actually protecting against?
It has examined all people that they have been sick. The people are coming to their sites, the clinical sites, typically a hospital, and if they have symptoms, and then they are examined by a physician, then they are taking samples. They check the samples and they send also samples in the central lab, and we are testing if they have COVID or not.
So right now, we still don't know whether or not this protects against developing the disease or developing a more serious infection. Those results will come later.
I think we know if it protects against the disease. We don't know yet because we haven't seen this data. If and how many of these cases were severe cases or light cases. Only a group of independent experts, independent from Pfizer, that they are allowed to have a look in the unblinded data.
So if you get approval, can you give us a sense of when people might start seeing this vaccine distributed, and what kind of numbers do you estimate?
We hope that we will be able to produce approximately 50 million doses this year, approximately 1.3 billion doses next year. To put things into perspective, 50 million doses means 25 million people, and this is a global production. So if US receives, let's say, 20 millions of this, let's say, 50 or 25, if it receives half of it, this means that in the US we will have 12.5 million people that we can protect. It's a small number compared to the totality of the population. It is, of course, a gigantic step because those 12.5, if used strategically, could be the people that they are more likely to get the disease, like first-line workers, a very sensitive population, etc.
You didn't take initially federal government money from the U.S. government for its Operation Warp Speed. I know you did sign a separate production deal with the U.S. government. Some members of the Trump administration and members of the Trump family have suggested something suspicious about the timing of this, that former Vice President Joe Biden is declared the winner of the presidency, and then this news comes out from Pfizer. Can you speak to the timing of this? Was political consideration in this at all, in this announcement?
Of course, there was no political considerations in the timing of this announcement, and there was nothing political in the whole process to develop this vaccine, despite the fact that it was discussed, unfortunately, into political terms rather than scientific terms. I had sent a letter to our employees just a few days after the first presidential debate in the US, telling them that some people are telling us to move faster and some people are telling us to move slower. We are going to move with the speed of science. And this is exactly what we did. And if the results were coming in October, as I was predicting, we would have told them in October. They came a week later, and we disclosed the results immediately.
All right, Dr. Albert Bourla, CEO of Pfizer, thank you very much for being here.
Thank you very, very much.